What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new on this channel, we explore tips, strategies, and experiences that I have had that will help you start and build up your Amazon FBA wholesale business. We are doing a live stream today, and I'm going to give it a couple minutes, guys, to make sure everybody gets into the video. So let's give it like 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll get it going. I'm going to make this live stream a little bit shorter than last time. I got some feedback from you guys, and you told me that the last one was a little bit long. So for those of you that are here, essentially what we're going to cover today is how to source profitable wholesale suppliers. We're going to go through a couple steps of how I do that in this second episode, and then we will cover some of the types of products that I look at and how I make buying decisions. And then we'll cover some questions and answers and some other tips that I have for you guys in getting your wholesale business started. So I'm going to give it 2 or 3 minutes and we will see who joins. Right now we only have one viewer, but that's okay because it's 8:02. This video will be recorded, so for those of you who do miss it, you'll be able to watch it on my channel. I'll also post this in the Facebook group, so you guys will get a chance to check it out in there. For now, I'm going to get underway with the recording just so we could stay on the time frame here. So we're going to go through the spreadsheet, and I'm just going to share my screen here. So we're going to go through the spreadsheet that we covered last time. Appears we might be having some technical difficulties. So we're going to sort this out. Okay, we were having some technical difficulties. Okay, so we're getting a few people in now. Um, I apologize for that long pause. So if you guys are watching this on a recorded session, um, definitely what you're going to want to do is fast forward the first 7 or 8 minutes because I was trying to work out some connection issues there. So it looks like we're doing okay. We have 3 people on. So for the 3 people that are in here, hi ACIT, how are you? For the 3 people that are in here, you're just going to get a private session, and any questions that you might have, we'll ask that in the Q&A. If you think of any questions, feel free to put them right in the description there, and I'll get those answered at the end of the session. So if you're just joining now, I'm going to go through a couple products. We're going to cover the types of companies and the types of products that I look at and how I make buying decisions. And we're going to cover a little bit of some other tips on how I believe that you guys can scale your business a lot faster, especially in the beginning stages. Some mistakes that I've made, and we'll wrap it up with a Q&A. So if you're in here, we're going to get it going now. So we are picking up right where we left off with our last wholesale supplier tracker spreadsheet. And if you guys recall, my sourcing criteria is as follows. Amazon is not on the listing. The price point is greater than $18. If the price is less than $18, the sales rank is less than 10,000. That means that if we have a lower retail price, we're going to obtain a lower profit margin, and therefore we want a higher sales velocity. Number 4, I'm looking for a minimum of 20 product sales per month. Number 5, I'm looking for more than 30 product reviews to give me some sort of establishment on the product. And number 6, I'm looking at more than 1 seller, but less than 15. Probably keeping this closer to the 10 to 12 range. I don't really like going over 10 or 12 sellers, and we're going to go into detail about that a little bit later on. So let's just jump into this product. So we have our spreadsheet, and essentially what you're doing with this spreadsheet is you're formulating yourself a list of leads that you're going to contact throughout the week, whether that be by phone or by email. So we'll jump in here to the first link that we have, which is this pool product, which is going to be a pretty seasonal item. So we can see the sales are picking up here already. It's got a triple-digit rank in patio, lawn, and garden. I mean, that's just superb. Sometimes I like to do this. You can take a look at this rank and see that it's roughly a 3,000 rank. And then we can go to Jungle Scout's free sales estimator, and we can go to, let's say it's 350 sales rank. We're selling in the United States. It's in the patio category. And this is going to do very well during this time of year. 5,000 sales a month. And then if we look at roughly the amount of people on the listing, there's a crazy amount of people. I mean, this is just insane. We have 68 people. So even though it sells such a high rate, we have to worry about sharing the sales and getting the buy box and competing for the buy box with 60 something other sellers, which is just insane. So for that reason alone, I'd stay away from this. But what you can do from here is you now have 68 other storefronts that you can source through and find more profitable items. And that's exactly how I do my wholesale product research. Is I'll find other storefronts, and I'll go through those storefronts, and I will determine. See, like this one I just skipped over. It's got 51 ratings, so I mean, we'll check it out. But I will really just go through storefronts and find, what other companies are selling, and we'll just essentially take a look at what they're selling. I think we did this one last time, so let's skip over this store. Let's look at the next store. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for a price point that's pretty much, it's really above $18. That looks good. See, this says sold by Amazon. If you don't have the software, it's free, DSAMZ Quick View. Definitely download that. That's what gives you this criteria. You'll be able to see the competition, the rank, if it's sold by Amazon, and all of the key features. This is just way too low of a price point. I'm not even looking at that. I do like products that have a higher price point like this because it's going to be a more expensive product, but generally speaking, your bottom line is going to increase. However, we're seeing that it has 19 sellers. That is outside of our criteria, so I'm continuing. It looks like this company is selling a lot of products with a lot of sellers on it, so I'm going to X out there. Right now, I have 2 products open. Let's get maybe like one more. This looks like some type of a pool or outdoor type distributor. We can still go through it. So I'm just going to go back here, open up one more store. This looks like they sell a lot of these frog products. Let's see this. All right, that's good for now. So from here, we'll look at, remember guys, we have to pull off this latter half of the URL so that we can see the listing with all of the sellers on it. We'll see there's, just a ton of sellers on this product. Probably not really of interest. I'm just going to close out of that because there's so many sellers, way too much competition. We'll pull the URL off that. So 10 sellers on this, a little bit on the higher side, but certainly something that we could still consider. It has a pretty good rank. Price remains relatively stable. Looks like they might have some type of a map policy that at some points was not being followed. And we're going to cover what map is. We're going to cover pricing later on. So what I would do from here is I would open this up in a new tab and I would type in alopecia. Barbershop aid, something like that. Because right now I'm looking for the company contact, at which point I would acquire my lead, whether that's a phone number or an email, or both, or a web inquiry. So here's a phone number. And this is great because this is a direct line. It's not an 800 number. I know I'm going to get someone at the company on the phone. Might have to leave a voicemail, but that's a direct line. Not seeing an email, so what I'll do is I'll just copy this and paste it here just in case I really can't get a hold of them over the phone. We have some other form of contact to go to. I'll copy that link in here, paste it there, and then I'll put the name of the product. And when you're calling, you're going to want to have your spreadsheet up so that you have something to reference while you're on the phone with the company. I can't tell you how many times I, finish my calls for the day and I go and do something else, and the company, I get a call back from the company and I might not know exactly who I'm talking to if I'm not in front of my computer looking at the product and looking at the spreadsheet. So it's important that you guys stay very organized throughout this process. Color coding is a good method. CRMs are good as well. Vendrive actually has a very good CRM specific for Amazon Wholesale. So something to look into there. And then from there, we're just going to continue that process over and over again until we've generated ourselves a list of 20 companies. Then we can make our calls. So what this looks like is, this might look like for you, you're sourcing the companies at night or on the weekends, and then you're making the contacts throughout the week, Monday through Friday, when the companies are in the office. I've talked to some people, and some people, they work a 9 to 5 and they're trying to scale their wholesale business. So they might not have really the time frame that someone might have who's working on this full time. So what you can do is after work, if you are able to contact some companies, you can hit the companies on the West Coast because they're on a 3-hour time delay if you live on the East Coast. So that's one thing you can do. If you're on the East Coast, you can hit the companies a little bit earlier in the morning. So those are all tactics, things to consider. But generally speaking, you're going to want to be contacting throughout the week because that's when people are answering emails, answering phone calls. Let's dive into one more. So this looks like it's got a decent Keepa chart. We'll pull this URL off so we can see the ASIN, and I'm pulling. What I'm doing is I'm pulling the URL off up to the point at the end of the ASIN. And when I press enter on that, I'll be able to see all of the sellers that are on that listing. So that's key because otherwise I'd only be seeing the seller that sells that particular product. So I can see that there's 6 sellers. That's not bad. Price remains relatively stable. It goes from 59 currently. At one point it was 50. It even went down to 52. So a little bit low. But it's relatively stable. At this point, I would open this up in a new tab and I'd find the company. This is a big brand. They might delegate you to a distributor if you reached out to them. So contact them. Here's an 800 number. I would take that, put it in my spreadsheet, try to get an email or some type of other reach out. So I'll just put this contact here. And if we didn't get them on the phone, maybe after the first or second try, we could send a contact inquiry on the website. That's why I'd put that there. So from there, we will copy the Amazon link, paste it here, put the name of our product, which is Drive Links, and then we paste that there. So we'll close that out. And again, I could close that out, or I can then go to my other sellers and look at their storefronts, and just repeat that process for most of the products that we look at. It looks like this seller only sells those products, but we can do that on these different product listings because what that's going to do is it's just going to generate us a wider list of leads, which you can continue to add to this spreadsheet. Like I said, it's a rabbit hole that never essentially ends, really. It can just go on forever. That's the amazing part about Amazon is there's so many thousands of products out there that you or I have never heard of that are selling well. So we actually had this one up as well. So this looks like it sells very well during Q4. So what we can do is let's grab this one more since we have it up. So it looks like the brand is selling this, because I see the brand is, this product is made by Hickory Farms and the seller is Hickory Farms. So I would then look at the other sellers, see if it's worth reaching out. There's a few other sellers on it. That might mean that, they will sell to you. So that's something to keep in mind. I would reach out to this company. So what I will do from here is I will type them in, Hickory Farms. Get their contact. Oops, nope, I don't want that. Get their phone number. It's not going to let me copy it because it's direct link. So I'll just copy that, and we know that we have a phone number on that website. Copy this, paste it here, Hickory Farms, and then we would just continue that process. So I'm not going to keep doing it. You guys are getting the idea. Feel free to post any questions that you might have as I'm recording this. But that is essentially the premise of what we are doing. We're going through the seller storefronts. Like if I were to itemize this as a list of what you're doing, you're starting on Amazon, you're reverse sourcing, you're looking through product categories, you're trying to find niche products. I'm not really going after huge brands. That is a business model that you can go after, where you would seek more distributors as opposed to smaller to mid-sized brands that you can work with directly. There's two different approaches you can take. I know some people who are mostly distributor-based sellers. Other sellers like myself are mostly brand-based sellers. Both business models work. One is not necessarily better over the other, but if you can combine the both of them, then you're going to have the most bang for your buck. So we're looking through Amazon, and once you've found a couple products, we're looking at the sellers that sell those products, and then from there we're going through each of their storefronts. We would then, the process of doing this can be outsourced very easily. You can hire a VA at a very affordable rate. I have a VA that works out of the Philippines, and the rates are very affordable, especially for a new seller who hasn't seen a ton of profit yet. You can hire VAs anywhere from $2 an hour to $4, $5, $6, $7 an hour. $2 an hour is a little bit low, so you're probably looking more in the $5 to $6 an hour range. Sorry, this keeps popping up. You're probably looking in the $5 to $6 an hour range, and what you can gain from that is you can free up, so many hours throughout the week. If you can essentially you can get a list of storefronts, and you can give those to a VA, train that VA, and give them this criteria and tell them, hey, here's my criteria, go through this list of storefronts and just do this process of open this up. I'm sorry, they would be finding these leads. So they would open the storefront up, you'd have a list of storefronts in here, so we can, let's say it's this storefront. We would put that here, and then we would put the link to that storefront here. And I would send my VA a list of a bunch of storefronts, and I'd say, hey, go through, the products on these storefronts, generate me a list like this, where you have the product name, the link to Amazon, and a contact number and or email address. and use this criteria. I don't want Amazon on the listing. Price point has to be above $18. And so you can very easily outsource that. And then now you're the one making the phone calls and sending the emails. You're not doing this process. So that's key for, you know, really scaling. And it's important to understand that you should really try to outsource these types of tasks early on in your business, because it's going to just slow down growth as you're trying to scale. And this is a mistake that I made, over time, is that I was hesitant and slow to outsource things and hire people. And only now am I really identifying those time blocks that are really consuming a lot of my time, and I'm trying to outsource those to virtual assistants. Some domestic, others foreign. But the point is that if the task can be taught, if you can draft up an SOP to where you're going to teach someone else how to do it, you can now gain back 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, and utilize that to finding more profitable product and easily pay for the time that your virtual assistant worked. So that's key. We have one question coming in, so I will get to the questions towards the end. One more thing I want to cover is the types of products and companies that I'm looking at. So going back about a year ago, not even a year ago, last year, probably around July, August, we started to see an issue on Amazon, which is known as the Notorious Buy Box Issue. And essentially what this did was it disabled sellers from obtaining the buy box. And it was a change in Amazon's algorithm that was done kind of in the midst of COVID, and when they were making a bunch of different changes in terms of they were increasing the threshold for their IPI score, all in preparation for kind of a crazy, chaotic Q4 with online sales booming. So, some sellers have been very positively affected by the buy box change. Other sellers have been negatively affected. Other sellers have not really saw much of a change. Ultimately, from my own conclusions and experience, what I have determined from this issue is a few conclusions. Now, these are not set in stone conclusions. You might be experiencing something different than I am, but I can only go by what I'm experiencing. And what I've found is that the sellers that are most likely now to obtain the buy box, because it is a known fact that on certain product listings, the buy box is not rotating equally like it used to. So on certain product listings, we will have sellers that are huge, right? Hundreds of thousands of ratings. I found that those sellers are stuck in the buy box. Amazon is favoring them to hold the buy box, and it's the other sellers that are almost not getting the buy box at all. And what's happening is they're not getting any sales. So one seller is getting all of the sales, and it's almost like a catch 22, because what's happening is one seller is getting all of the sales, and as they're selling more, they're buying more from the company. So they're sending more inventory into Amazon, and Amazon favors sellers that continuously send more inventory in. So they're sending more inventory into Amazon, and they're selling more inventory. So as they send more, they sell more, and they just continue to stay in the buy box, whereas the other sellers are not buying anything from the companies because those sellers are not obtaining the buy box. Now, how do we get around this? Well, the biggest issue, in my opinion, in situations like this is, I'm just looking at some of the comments. So the biggest issue in a situation like this is what we call map pricing. And for those of you who are not familiar, I'm coming out with a video this week. It's almost done. It's all about map pricing. So be on the lookout for that. But long and short of it, MAP pricing stands for minimum advertised pricing policy, and it's a mandated minimum retail price threshold that companies have for their sellers on Amazon or on any other online website. And what happens with this is that, let's say the mandated MAP is $20 for a certain product, all the sellers have to stay at $20 and nobody can go below that amount. So what happens is if one seller is stuck in the buy box and everyone's at $20, those other sellers cannot drop the price to get that buy box back because they're stuck at MAP in an agreement with the company. Because if they violate the MAP, then they're going to be cut off from the company. They won't be able to purchase from them. So it's you're caught between this almost like a rock and a hard place, because you can't lower your price because it'll sever your ties with the company. But you can't. But if you stay at MAP, you don't sell anything. So what do you do in this situation? And this is what I've really spent the past several months adjusting my business to, is this new issue on Amazon. And for me personally, I mean, I want to be fully transparent with you guys. I have been negatively impacted by this buy box issue, in the sense that previously I was selling most of my wholesale products were MAP pricing. And what happened? One or two sellers stuck in the buy box. I wasn't really selling a lot of my inventory because I wasn't getting the buy box. So I've almost had to make this shift where I focus on certain products with certain price histories. And I'm going to explain that. So here's how I've adjusted to the issue. And here's how we've really kind of not only adjusted, but actually benefited and turned it kind of around in a positive way. So for one, I look at products that I really look at the keeper graph and I analyze the price history. Okay, what is it doing? If it's a flat line, then I know that it's a MAP policy. If it's going like this a little bit, it's up and down slightly, then I know everybody's pretty much staying in the same range. If it's flying all over the place, then that's going to be difficult to invest in, because it could be $20 one day, 15 the next, 10 the next. So that's tells me the price is all over the place. But really how I invest in products is I look for products with a loose MAP policy. And what that means is that the company has a MAP policy, or they have a price, a suggested retail price that they prefer it to be sold for, but they do not they don't enforce it, right? They're not going to boot you off the listing. They're not going to cut your ability to sell products if you go down a little bit. And that's been key for me as we've adjusted. Another thing is, if they don't have a MAP policy, I'll just look for a price point that's relatively stable. Does it stay within the $2 to $3 or even $4 range over the past year? And if it does, then that's a good investment, because my repricer can catch it on the way down and it can catch it on the way up when sellers raise their price, lower their price, and it can target the buy box. So pricing has been the biggest challenge, really. This buy box issue is, in my opinion, it's more of a pricing issue than it is a buy box issue, because at the end of the day, the Amazon favors lowest price. So they're going to give 9 times out of 10 the lowest price the buy box. There's plenty of instances that you'll see where a higher price might have the buy box, and that can be due to a number of things, such as other sellers' inventory is in transfer. It's not available for purchase yet. They're sending it in and it's not ready to ship to customers. But generally speaking, for the most part, the lowest price is going to get the buy box. And with MAP policies that are loose, or no MAP policies with stable price histories, you can slightly decrease that price to gain more control and get that buy box. So that's been key in terms of how I'm investing in products. I also completely stay away from products that have over 12 sellers. That's just way too much for me at this point. That's another thing that I found is that if the product has a MAP policy and the number of sellers is high, and then high in my opinion is over 10 or 12, then I'm going to stay away. Ideally, I like under 5. If I can get it down to 2, and really cultivate that relationship and potentially develop something exclusive, that's my main goal. And that's kind of how I've approached this whole issue. So I'd be curious to hear if you guys are affected in a similar way. So drop a comment down below in this video, whether it's positively or negatively affected your wholesale business. So that pretty much wraps up this session. We're approaching the 40-minute mark. First 7 minutes for those that are watching on a recorded session, which this will be recorded, and it's going to be on my YouTube channel. So fast forward the first 7 or 8 minutes. So we're going to open it up to a question and answer now. And I'm looking at the questions and I see, what do you do when suppliers ask to see your website? I send them my website. So I would recommend getting some type of a landing page, just to portray yourself as a more professional company. The other thing is you can build a Shopify store with an add to cart button so that you can present to companies. Not only do we sell on Amazon, but we also have our own website that we sell on. And this actually, I will tell you that, I have experience. If you have a website where you sell products through, they will let you sell on Amazon. If you don't have a website where you can sell products to, they will not let you sell on Amazon. So you'd have to build that website in as an overhead cost in your business. And if it can work out to be profitable, meaning if you can add enough products that that will generate you profit to cover the cost of the website, to cover the cost of that add to cart button, then it's going to be worth it, right? Do you have a value prop website or niche? I have more of a landing page type website. I personally don't have an add to cart button with products listed. It's something that I'm considering getting done this year because I have been in situations where companies will only allow me to sell it on Amazon if I'm able to list it on the website. So I do list, value components on the website, but I don't go into a ton of detail because that's more for me to have a conversation with the company about when we have a further point of contact. So feel free to fire away any questions you might have. I'll keep it open for a couple more minutes, and then we'll sign off. Again, guys, this is your chance to get a private session. Any questions you might have, I'm more than willing to answer them for the next couple minutes or so. I've been selling on Amazon. I'm just looking at the question, how long have you been doing this? I've been selling on Amazon for, sorry, I was just looking at something. I've been selling on Amazon for probably like almost 3 years, but I only started the wholesale business model at the beginning of last year. So I've been doing wholesale full time for roughly roughly 9 or 10 months. I've been doing wholesale full time for, and I still do some retail arbitrage during Q4, online arbitrage, but wholesale is my main business model. And I do throughout the year, mostly during Q4, I supplement the wholesale with arbitrage, just to have some extra added income. So the answer is about 3 years. Are you open to doing one-on-one mentoring? Yes, if you're interested in one-on-one mentoring, I'm gonna put my email here. It's not something, guys. It's my email is bsherman1897@gmail.com. Guys, it's not something that I've really um, it's not something that I really market the um, the mentoring, but I'm certainly willing to help mentor someone if you're really serious about getting started. So feel free to reach out to me. Again, any questions? I'm going to keep it open for another 1 or 2 minutes. If I'm not getting any questions, we'll sign it off. So guys, really build out your list. You know, if there's one thing I can tell you, and what has really, scaled my business, is doing velocity in calls and emails. Um, this is a business of rejection. You're going to get rejected probably 9 times out of 10, right? You get better as you go along and you get used to that rejection. But um, this business model is not for someone who can't handle rejection. Simply put, and this is information that people are not telling you. Anybody pitching you wholesale as like a quick way to make money, um, it's a business just like any other business that takes time, that has a lot of moving parts, that needs certain components need to be outsourced. Um, it's just like running a retail store, except you don't have the kind of overhead of stocking shelves and paying employees, but you're essentially running a retail operation on Amazon where you're buying from different accounts that you have, and you're keeping stock on your products. um, a point where you want to be, which is a point where I'm kind of getting, is my having the biggest challenge of keeping stock on all of your inventory, right? Because what that tells you is that you have inventory that's selling, but you're trying to manage all of your products and determine, okay, how much do we need to order this week? What needs to be ordered that week? And we want to keep a quick turn rate because the margins in wholesale are much more slim than other business models. So, you know, with wholesale, we want to keep that quick turnaround, no more than 30 days. We want to sell through our inventory. Ideally, if we can be ordering every 2 weeks, that's an ideal situation. So I don't purchase inventory if I'm not going to sell it in 45 days or less. That would be my cutoff point, because that maintains a positive cash flow. It keeps things liquid and moving. So if we have a Shopify e-commerce store already, can we use that as our site? Yes, absolutely. If that's a niche storefront that you have on Shopify, um, maybe concentrate on products in that particular category. That's worked well for some people because I've encountered companies that only want to sell to you if you sell related products in their category. If, let's say, it's a sporting goods product. Well, they don't want to sell to someone who also sells beauty products, or electronics. They want to sell to someone who specializes in the sporting industry. So you can concentrate it in a niche environment, or you can also open it up to um, a more general e-commerce platform that sells a variety of products, that is marketed such as kind of like in an online business, you know, an expert in online marketing, something like that. So if that's all the questions you guys have, we're going to wrap it up for today. Um, Thank you for joining the session. You know, I really appreciate it, guys. I appreciate the support on YouTube. If you guys haven't joined the Facebook group yet, um, I'll leave a link. I'll put a link in the description of this video or the comments section for the Facebook group. It's telling me I got new comments. So the Facebook group is just another outlet for you to get support, to get your questions answered. So jump on there if you're interested. For now, we're going to sign off. If you guys have any questions, you know, I put my email in here. Feel free to reach out to me. If you're interested in any type of a coaching, we can possibly work something out there. Other than that, you know, thanks again, and we will see you next time. And if you guys haven't already, smash that like button because it really helps out the videos in the YouTube algorithm. If you're interested in seeing more content like this and more videos, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can stay up to date on all the future content that I put out on YouTube. Thanks again, guys, and we will talk to you next time.